The death toll in Kentucky continues to rise following what the governor called, quote, the worst flooding disaster he has ever seen.
The hits just keep on coming for eastern Kentucky.
Our neighbors in eastern Kentucky continue to show their spirit of survival.
Heavy rainfall led to the unimaginable. Within minutes, homes completely flooded and destroyed. Cars fully submerged underwater. Roads completely washed away. And worst of all, countless families in Whitesburg, Kentucky left to rise from the waters.
When I tell it, it's still kind of surreal to tell it because it's weird sounding, you know, it's like most people, it's like you can't hardly believe it. And I lived through it and still can't hardly believe it. From the time that I walked out the door and started moving vehicles until it was up on my thigh and we had to leave was like 20-some minutes. It was fast. And you don't have time to think about anything other than we got to get out. Jason went to the garage. He got his side-by-side out and we left. And there were people that, their houses were already flooded, so there were people that were getting on their roofs and on the roofs of their cars, standing and just screaming. So that was one of the things that was really devastating for this area about the flood. The whole family was affected and wiped out. Before the 22 flood, 1957 was the largest flood that had ever hit eastern Kentucky. So anytime anybody talked about flooding, it was the 57 flood. And it was supposed to be one of those 1,000-year floods. Nobody thought another one would ever come like that again. Most people weren't prepared. When the 22 flood came, it was way above that.
The Back family wasted no time in beginning their recovery. Though uncertain about what would remain of their livelihood after the flood, they knew their first priority was helping their community and rescuing those in need.
We took the side-by-sides and we started driving through neighborhoods. And we drove through this neighborhood and we started just knocking on doors and asking people if they had life jackets and kayaks and things like that. So we rounded up some kayaks and some life jackets and started getting people out of their houses on kayaks. At this time, there were no communication. Phone lines were down, TV lines were down, the Appalachian Wireless cell service went down, so there was no way to call anybody. Just did the best you could to get out and try to help other people get out. You know, there was nothing else we could do. Ours was flooding, there was really nowhere to go. That afternoon, after everything kind of calmed down, Jason and I were just sitting on the hillside there, watching the water try to go down, and we both said that day, we're not coming back here. You know, we're not doing this, we'll find something else. So I didn't have time to have feelings. You know, you just immediately get right back into it and you do what you have to do. It was really horrible at first to see people just dragging everything they've ever worked for and owned just out. And Jason has a hard time with things that went through it. And our boat, he's not took the cover off of it since they cleaned it up after the flood. He put it up for sale this past week because he's like, I don't have the heart to use it anymore. So everybody kind of handles things different, you know. To me, and I said it the day of the flood, it's just stuff. And I was like, it's just stuff. The way I look at it is, I still have the memories of it and we're all still here, so it's just stuff. I think I was so thankful at that point that everybody was okay. And that we could be okay. You know, we both had jobs, we had somewhere to stay, we had family that could help us, we had friends. You know, we had a great support system and a great network. So we were extremely lucky and not everybody had that.
The Backs tore down their flood-damaged home and moved to safer ground. For nearly 3 years, they have poured their hearts into helping their community heal, always anchored by the belief that family is what truly matters.